Hello and welcome to our place in Sicily. Today we're going to take you on a tour of the state of the palazzo from the garden side in. So let me go open the house and then we'll come back here and start the tour. All right, the house is all opened up and we're back where we started, in the back of the house, in the giardino, in the garden. And we're going to take you for a tour from the garden side in this time to give you a real state of the palazzo before work starts picking up and that new roof goes on. Before we turn the camera on, let's take a look at the floor plan. And we are starting from the garden side and we are going into the bedroom suite. So we are next to the wet shower bathroom and coming in the bedroom door. This is our bedroom. The bed will be situated between those two plugs there. And this is our soon-to-be absolutely beautiful wet bath with a beautiful transom so we can see the sunlight. We can open this bathroom door and let the sunshine in the morning and maybe wake us up slowly, maybe wake us up fast depending on the time of year. We have a big, beautiful window in here. And this is the rest of the bedroom suite, which includes the alcove, which you may have seen our videos before. The bedroom is essentially going to end right here at the end of the alcove. And there'll be a closet along sort of that old line of the bathroom that'll wrap around this wall. And the door for the bedroom will be right about where I'm standing. And tucked into the back of this closet, right about here, will be some pull-out doors that will close this alcove. So when it's just us staying here or just our family, friends that don't need an extra bed, the idea is that those doors will be open. There will be a mattress here on a raised platform, and it'd just be sort of like a little reading nook. But if you have another guest staying, those doors can be shut. This has a high ceiling. We'll be putting a really beautiful chandelier in there. We've got some artwork for this. There'll be a lovely little bedside adjustable light. And it's going to be this really cool little niche. There'll even be room at the end for either maybe a pull down desk or some clothes you can hang. We're pretty excited about that. And that ends the sort of bedroom bathroom suite. And it walks us right into our kitchen. Now the nice thing about the alcove and the bedroom and really every room in this house is that the walls are so thick. So there's really great soundproofing. This wall isn't that thick, but it will be surrounded by a closet on both sides. So that's pretty fantastic. And then this is our kitchen and kitchen studio area. And we're basically just putting our kitchen along this wall. There'll be a little peninsula out before that doorway. Big, bright yellow stove top, stove range, refrigerator, a really cool, well, they call them a capo here, but it's the hood that we will be able to paint on. And then this space back there is what we're calling the kitchen studio. If you haven't seen this space yet, you could also watch our guest house tour, but we basically have a kitchen. This is where our table goes, and then this opens up to a space that could be used if we have artists and residents staying here for a little artist studio. What makes this great is there's a lot of light, not only from this door, which will end up walking out under iron arches covered in jasmine, or the light that comes from this future window desk. We're really excited about that feature. And then on this wall, we're going to attach a special system for hanging easels. And when an artist isn't staying here, it'll still sort of have an artisty theme, but we'll have artwork hanging on the easels, finished artwork. And this was a doorway that used to connect a bedroom to a spare room, like a little office. We've closed that up, and on the other side will be a sink. And this is our main hallway back into the, or up into the front of the guest house. First to our right is going to be our sort of main bath that everybody will use. When you come in, it's going to look right into the shower. The shower is going to come down a little bit more and will be arched. It'll be nice and dark and cozy. I love a cozy dark shower because I don't like to wake up too much. And it'll be covered with blue glazed Etna tiles, and then sort of star and cross sort of Arabic sort of style in the floor tile. Over here is a very large section that will have the toilet and bidet. It's just, you know, a good size room, plenty of space. And then in this little nook that is made deep by the depth of our walls will be our vanity, a hanging brass sort of engraved Moroccan style light. And then We'll go back out to the main hallway. So it's a nice size bathroom for everyday use and for anybody who's visiting. And then tucked in next to the bathroom, we have this big floor to ceiling closet. You can see still the beams that are exposed. They will still add sort of a ceiling below this, and in between will be where the electrical and plumbing goes. So we have sort of a plan for this really cool laundry closet, which I'm very excited about. We will have a dryer because we expect there will be, well, our family who are Americans for sure, but also when you're traveling and maybe you're only staying someplace for a couple of days, you need to be able to dry and not leave it out to dry, even though I'm a big fan now of that. And what we've entered into now is our great room. I grew up with the great room in the United States, and I kind of like to have one big room that everybody can be in. Plus there's lots of other places in this, even in this little guest house, you can escape to. And that door goes right out to the street. We hope to have a game table here against the wall. I have a collection of old vintage game boards that will be our art here between a couple of sconces. This wall just looks like a brick wall if I don't zoom back. So let's walk back so you can see that. This big wall is going to have a giant piece of art on it, to be determined, with the same sconces on either side. And then this is our future coat closet, sort of mini mechanical room right there for the guest house. Now, this guest house used to have 2 doors, but we have obviously blocked one up. And actually, when we purchased the house, both had been fully blocked and you couldn't see them at all from this side of the house. But we're going to build in a little bookshelf here. And this one will have a door which will be open, say if my mom and little sister are staying here, and will be locked if we have some sort of renter here, so they have privacy and we have privacy. So that's our guest house. Now, let's go see what other doors we're going to go in from the back for our backwards tour. So we've traveled from that back terrace in front of us and through the guest house all the way to the front. And now we've come back out again and we are up on the mezzanine. You can see we have a lot of rubbish that still needs to go to the dump. The guys do that sort of in between waiting for supplies to arrive. But we have this lovely little mezzanine terrace. You may remember our little shrine. We also have this little fish pool. Now, we've met the great-granddaughter of the family that built this, and she said they did keep fish in it. This will be sort of a little mechanical room. It has a very, very low ceiling, but this is the one you may have seen our video before about the secret hole, and there's sort of like it's not a cave, but a domed room underneath this terrace that they used to keep things cold in. We keep joking with Igor, our architect, that we should put in, baths or a sauna or something in there. Okay, so now coming in from the middle floor, we're going to come in and we can go up or we can go down, and we're actually going to go down here. We'll come back up from another outside entrance and we'll take you into what is the entryway. Now, we would have brought you in from these doors, and I would have opened those doors, but they're very heavy and currently the hinge just doesn't want to open for me. Even though I'm a fairly strong person, I think I could get it open. The issue would be getting it closed back up. And this is another doorway that we're going to close. Let's see if I can back up here. We received some of our doors, but behind this wooden frame is that door we closed from the guest house that's going to be a bookshelf from the other side. And this, just to orient you, is the look into the guest house. So the front two doors are going to be closed, and there's going to be sort of like a little art installation is kind of overselling it, but like an entryway, little exhibit on one side about the family that built this, and I think on the other side about Mount Etna. And we can't get in that door right now, but there's another door in there, so I can show you what we're doing. Okay, so first let me point out this cool door. That's half of it. It's a two-door. The other one is open. And used to be able to come here and knock, and they would open that door, and I don't know, you could say, little pig, let me come in. I don't know. And this is just sort of an interesting room right now that has, I don't know what the purpose of this is. Now again, the ground floor is used, I'm gonna turn around so you can see it from the other side. Ground floor is usually used for storage, for staff, for housing the animals, for housing their feed, possibly for businesses, depending where you were in a town. And, well, that's just not how we're going to use this space. But let you take a peek in here. We know this was used as a bedroom at one point. We were going to use it as a coat room, but then we decided to close that door up, and Igor has come up with the great idea to use about 2/3 of this room to house our mechanical room, which is great. I love a good organized mechanical room. We'll take this wall down because it's, you can see, it's just a very narrow door just there to sort of break up the space. We'll scoot it in to create the mechanical room. And then our thought is to create a bathroom underneath. In this closet, we'll take these doors off. There's a beautiful arch, by the way, where we're storing all of our stuff for the guest house. I'll just keep it safe from construction. We'll bump out a little bit for the bathroom, and then the rest of the space will become sort of an entryway and, you know, like a fancy coat closet. Why don't you sort of see that? Let me show you the floor plan for this here too. So you can kind of see the before, which was 3 rooms, and then it become, well, it's really 2 rooms and a closet. And now we'll make it 3 rooms, a mechanical room, sort of secondary entryway, and a full bathroom. And that full bathroom will be used when this space is used. Now this is Flex Room 1 with the new ceiling, which you've seen us put on recently. It's one of our bigger last tasks we've done. We're going to put in some, we think, some sliding opening secret walls so that this can become both a bedroom, a hallway to the next room, and a little gym space, which I'm super excited for. And let's take a peek over here. We can't really get into this, but this is Flex Room 2. I just wanted you to take a look at what the overhead looks like over an old doorway. And this is not ready for prime time, but you can see, and we'll look at this from upstairs too, they're ready to take the wood beams out and put in the cement beams and put in the same kind of floor. This is on the ground floor, that door front is the entrance and bathroom for the side of the house. And then upstairs is our daughter's bedroom, and then that little door is her bathroom, and my other favorite daughter's bedroom, and the little door there is her bathroom. So, too dangerous to take you into that room today, but you'll get to see it. Now, I think we should go back outside and come in from another door. Let's head up to our main bedroom suite. Actually, before we head up to that bedroom suite, we're back out in the garden, and I wanted to show you first, we can't get in there right now, but this door leads to what was the forno room, the oven room, stove room. It's where the woman who lived here before cooked, but where we'll keep our kiln. Above it is our laundry terrace, our terrace outside of our kitchen. Now we turn the corner. That's the guest house side. That's our mezzanine. And then, well, let's take you to the room that's not a room yet. This was the laundry room, probably the original laundry room, because this is where they kept the water. Well, that's a pump. They kept the water down below. And you can see underneath this rope, this is the original sort of washing stone. But we're going to make this a little outdoor bathroom. I mean, there'll be a door on it, but a bathroom for the people outdoors. This will be eventually Matt's office and not a mountain of rubble, but this is where they were dumping it from the kitchen hole up above, which you may remember. This is essentially the garage door. You're not seeing things. That is not a very wide door, but it could fit like a cart in it. And this will be my ceramic studio. Another picture of Matt's office. It has a window there too. We'll be removing this wall and putting in a glass window because on the other side of it will be my office / art studio. But first, we are coming in to what will be the solarium, and it is now the holder of all things doors and windows. Through that wall was where we had flex room. That's the gym section of it. We'll be opening that wall there and here with great big arches of glass. We'll probably put a kitchen along that wall, a little area to sit. And then in this very dark space, almost too dark to see, this is our sort of current storage room. It also has a star vault, and that will be my art studio. So we're very excited about this little corner because this is where we get to work and create and stuff. Now we can head upstairs for another outside-in tour. All right, we are above where we started originally. That is the terrace to the guest house. And that is the best smelling tree in the garden right now. It's got orange blossoms that just take your breath away. We have some nespole, also called loquat, almost ready to pick on that tree. And we are someplace we have not been. We're showing you, we've been here for a long time. We are on the roof of the guest house. And we're headed in that door, which is our main bedroom. And this is going to be our own private little terrace. I think we're going to put a pergola here so that we can definitely have shade. In this corner will be a comfortable sitting area, maybe with larger chairs that Matt and I can cuddle up under a blanket on the cold days, trying to sit in the sun, reading books. And then this side, just like maybe a cafe table and chairs all around the perimeter. The plan right now, there will be a bit of a railing, of course, nobody wants to fall off, but also we'll be bringing up some pea gravel, and we're going to be using that spray on sort of glue for gravel, for pea gravel, that will hold it in place but still is permeable, and that will let us use the leaf blower to blow off sabia out of there so we don't end up with just basically a sabia. I'm sorry, I should remember that everybody hasn't seen this video. Sabia is the sand that comes from Etna. And so we'll be able to clean that up easily. again, some of the backyard. Right along this guest house will be that jasmine covered walkway. Then we're going to put in a little bocce ball court. We're going to use the sabbia, the black sand of Etna, for the court, just for fun. It will not be regulation size. And then we'll have a green area, and between hopefully these two trees with the plum tree at the back there, we will have a pool that looks out to the sea. This is like a dream come true. I feel a little bit like one of those people who find out they have, well, maybe I guess it's just Anne Hathaway is the person I'm thinking about, who finds out she's a princess. It's very affordable, which makes this dream a reality for us. And now I'm going to take you to the Prince and Princess's Principessa, Principe, bedroom and bathroom. Now, you've seen these ceilings before, but have you ever seen them from the outside in? And we start with Archimedes. You may have seen our video where we added structure and reinforcement to the corners, mostly because of that crack. And it goes all the way down that side. There's none on this side. And then it starts up again on that side. Really cool way of saving that. So then in between this, now we have some tape on the floor. You can kind of see we're putting in sort of a, think of it as a square room in the middle of this. And the middle of the square is going to fall right where these two ceilings come down. So it'll still be supported. And you can see the idea here is that this side will be our main closet, and this will be our secondary closet, and the one that any guests would use if they were using this space. And where these lines are sort of where the bed is going to go. The idea is that we can open the doors in the morning on a weekend and look out to the sea, which you can't see because it's like way too bright. Maybe if I walk slowly, there you go. And we can look at that. I just don't believe it. I'm going to need a lot of pinching when we finally get into this. It still doesn't feel real. Okay, so then this cube continues along, and the idea is that this is the walkway between the bedroom and the bathroom. Right here will be the shower. Interesting, where we put that chair is about where the toilet is going to be. We don't have the rest really taped out, but here in this corner will be one vanity, and there'll be one on the other side, his and hers, and in between, and right under our angel, which we've already started cleaning a little bit, will be our bathtub and a little piccolo chandelier, so that I can have yummy bubble baths. Not yummy, I'm not going to eat them, but relaxing bubble baths after I get done with this whole renovation. So this is our main bedroom bathroom suite from our private terrace. Off in the distance, below those clouds, you can see Taormina and Castelmola there. But where are we now? We are on what we call the laundry terrace, and you'll find out why in a second. First, let's look where we started, and then let's take a look at the plans. So that is the guest house, and that little bump out at the end is the wet bath, and that's where we started. We've also gone in from the terrace outside of our bedroom and the terrace by the fish pond, and now we've walked all the way to the other side of the house, and we're going to go in the kitchen. Let's look at the floor plan here. Orient yourself from the back, and you can see the kitchen is sort of basically the kitchen plus the old dining room and the newer dining room. And then we go into the girls' bedrooms, which we can't go into, and then over into the living room and family room and dining room and all the other rooms. So this is our last in and out from upstairs. So let's start from the laundry room terrace, where there used to be a sink here and where we may dry our laundry, but we'll also have a little table to eat outside, sort of a little private place, and into, oh, one of my favorite rooms in the house, the kitchen. We are basically going to break up the kitchen into a laundry, sort of from the left of this window to the right side, where that line is where the washer and dryer are going to go. It'll go all the way to the ceiling. I'll try to go slower for you. And this is what they call a scullery. First of all, I have to finish with this floor. And if you saw us emptying out stuff, materials from here before, you'll know that's how they wheelbarrowed them out. And you might be able to hear pigeons are trying to scare me, and they're hiding up in the rafters. From below that room is Matt's office and is a star vault. So it has to be built back very carefully just so it retains the star vault quality. But that'll eventually be where we have a big sink and a dishwasher. And then we'll put a wall sort of about the middle of this picture. And on the left side will be access to some pass-through cabinets. So when we do dishes, we can put the dishes up in the cabinets, but we can access them from this side of the room. So basically we can have a party and nobody can see all our dirty dishes. Or honestly, you know, I can put my breakfast dish there and I can't see our dirty dish the whole time. We don't know what we're doing with the ceiling yet, but it all needs to be put together. We are losing the peachish orange ceiling because it's in really bad shape and it's not as historically significant, and it's, I think, more important for us to do a good cohesive ceiling here for the next 100 years. On this wall, if you've seen our old stove before, you'll see it again in a second, is getting refinished and will be popped up there. We won't be using it. It will have some brick structure holding up the facade, and then we'll put a new stovetop on top of it. And then we'll have an island here, sort of where that horizontal line goes down to this horizontal line. And then over here we'll have a giant tall table, like countertop high table. So we could do a cooking class or a tasting, or really just have a secondary work surface. If we want to make a lot of pasta or cookies at the holidays, we have a lot of space. We're lucky enough to have a balcony off of our kitchen. Not something I've ever think was necessary, but you know, I'm not opposed to sitting out there and cooling off in the breeze in the afternoon. And then this wall here, that doorway, again, another thick doorway, is going to be closed off and become a little drink bar on this side. On the other side, we're going to put in a little bioethanol fireplace. But to either side of that doorway we're closing will be built-in open glass shelves, which I'm super excited about. Now, you will see from this barrier that I can't take you into this next set of rooms. This is on the far side, my daughter Rebecca's room. Becky and Brian, her fiance, will get the room that has Galileo, and Abby, my archaeologist, is going to get a custom painted ceiling here based on some paintings we found in Greece. We didn't find them, they were found. We saw them. Paintings we paid to see, but they're really cool and have blue monkeys. So who doesn't want blue monkeys on their ceiling? We'll try to paint it in somewhat the style of Schutte as far as decorative elements, but also keeping true to the sort of style of the painting frescoes that we found. And then, well, let's see, let's go back out. It feels wrong to keep going around inside without going out. So we came in this door from the laundry room terrace. This terrace wraps around from there. And this room we're going to go into next has windows all around it. These will eventually be doors, but we can walk all the way around from the kitchen. Probably we'll put an outdoor table here, maybe a small one, or maybe just a seating area. And then we can come into our dining room. State of this is pretty much like I've shown it probably for the last 6 months or so, but it has the old cast iron stove in it. What you're looking at is the back side of it. The only part that has really something protruding is this part, which was the oven. So they basically closed a metal box, and then the heat that was inside the oven would warm that box for baking. But I think what we'll do is build something similar to that around all of the openings. This being one of the openings. Openings over here. This pipe is what it used to look like in there. We have the old water, really the water tank. This didn't do any boiling, it was just an empty tank. So, and then this piece, which I can't pick up right now because I'm filming, is the decorative piece that went on essentially the exhaust. So we're going to try to build that into a custom exhaust fan for over the new modern stove that will be made to match the old stove. Now, when we look at these walls, some of you might think, ooh, I like the old distressed wall. I do too. That was my plan, clean these up and leave them as is. And then I found out they have lead paint in them and they're flaky, of course, and they're in the dining room. So we're going to have to clean those up, give them a fresh coat of paint, and then the idea on these two walls that have the blue paint is to paint still a mural of Mount Etna. I'm actually working on a toile design for Sicily for our friends, the King sisters, whose house we've been touring through the process. You may have seen those videos. But I'm thinking of enlarging that great big Mongibella, beautiful mountain, Etna, and putting that on there. And then the other walls, which are beautifully striped layers of lava stone, that's the black, of course, and brick. It just was so meticulously done, and it goes all the way across. I've mentioned this in videos before, but we're going to clean that up and seal it and to leave that raw. And then all of these windows will become doors, so they'll look like that. And it'll feel like you're outside because you'll be in front of a door. And even when you're not outside, you'll have a painting of Mount Etna, which is outside. And then we're not sure what we're going to do about the ceiling. This one was from a different time and was very much in bad repair. And so we decided to be able to take it off, fix the iron behind it that needs to be sealed, and put in a new ceiling, probably coved Probably will have some gilded features on it. We're not sure. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, you know where to put them in the comments. We have so many people giving us great suggestions. And then from this side also, this was a door. It's a very wide door, isn't it? Very wide door, very wide wall into the kitchen. Remember that, with our balcony. Well, we're going to open this about another ½ meter so it feels much more like an opening. So it'll feel very open, and if we had to, we could put a table from one side to the other and have a big Italian, Sicilian style party, and it would be grand. I mean, that's my plan. We'll see. Now, I think we could go in these rooms, but since I have the opportunity to go out and back in one more time, I'm going to do it. So now, again, guest house, our private terrace. There was a bridge that went across from here to there, but it was at basically 5 foot high, 5'3". You had to duck to go under it, and it basically blocked your view of the sea. And so we have a second door, very similar to our mezzanine door, which we did already go in, but we went downstairs when we went in down there. So now we're going to go upstairs. Now this would have been where you would have come in, and although these doors are open, there was a doorbell here on that circle. I'm trying to fix it and restore it so that it'll go ding, ding, ding. Mostly so when I have grandchildren or their small children running through this house, they'll chime it and I'll wish I hadn't done it. But let's start in our family room. So this is the family room with Achilles dragging poor Hector. Oh, poor Hector, I guess wasn't a very nice guy, but also surrounded by all of our Italian poets, writers around the ceiling. Another balcony. This is going to be our family room. And between those two solid red lines, we're going to open up this wall to the next room, which is our living room. As I explained it to Igor, we think of family room with TV, living room without TV. I'm not sure if everybody else thinks that. This door was an opening that we are going to close, but I'm thinking of making it like a little, maybe hidden closet. And speaking of hidden closets, this is an opening that had a door on it, but I think we'll sort of maybe make it a door that looks like the wall. There's a little window that goes outside. But you can kind of see here, because you can see daylight, why we need to replace the ceiling. So, like I said, after this tour, they're going to be starting next week, we think, if all goes well and the weather holds out. We have a little more restructuring to do of the wall space that is above this ceiling, but below the roof. There's a little section in there that we are going to restructure like we have done all the rest of the walls. We're going to take this section of wall out, and we're going to open that wall a little bit, that opening between the dining room and the kitchen. And one more room, one of my absolute favorites along with the kitchen, and this is our beautiful living room and reception room. So, in this room, we'll have another square. It won't be square room. Sorry, we'll have another square room. We're calling them cubes. That won't be as big as the one in our main bathroom. And it again will sort of be half on one side of this wall where the two ceilings come together, and half on the other side. And inside will be a small powder room. And you will enter the living room from both sides of the cube. When you get here, this wall could be open or the big long door could be shut, because that's the wall that I showed you the red lines in the family room where we're opening that. So you can imagine if you're coming in here, you have this big room. There'll be a step up into this room, but you can just carry the party on from one balcony to the next. By the way, let's be real, because all of my family that's watching this is like, Jen is a total introvert. People are going to need to invite themselves over for her to have a party. And I say, not true. Well, maybe partially true, but part of the reason we bought this and we're doing all this work is to share this with other people. And I just think I can be brave and be semi-extroverted every once in a while. And we've made so many great friends here. And it's very comfortable for me to be with good friends, having good food. And so I am excited. And then we saw this from the other side. Since we can't walk in this room, that room all the way across is Becky's ensuite bathroom. That's her guy, Mr. Galileo, in jail. Below is Flex room 2. That's the one we couldn't walk into because there's too much stuff. So she has a door off of this room. And Abby, daughter number 2, but no less important, has this room where we're painting the ceiling, and that is her bathroom. And what I like about this is, even though her bedroom doesn't have a window on it here, when we make this a suite, which we are, essentially, as the doors can be left open, she has a window through there, and only doesn't have the window when she wants to close her bathroom doors. So excited about this. This is coming soon. I have a feeling, my guess, but don't hold me to it, is that this is what the guys will be working on next week, getting this cleared out of dirt so they can take these out, put in the cement beams, put in the terracotta bricks, and then pour a new floor just like this room and our main bedroom. What do you think? So that's it for our backwards tour, our tour from the garden, and we're so glad you came along. And if you made it this far, congratulations. And until next time, ciao, ciao.